Starship Voyager. The easily recognizable ship, mostly by its saucer section and warp nacelles, was cruising at high speed toward the Alpha Quadrant. Captain Catherine Janeway, in the big chair, simply fiddled with her comm badge, the thing they use instead of mobile phones to any non-Trekkies. First Officer Chakotay in the seat next to her.
He's an Indian.
Ensign Harry Kim, Operations, Lieutenant Commander Tuvok at Tactical, and Lieutenant Tom Paris at the helm.
He's kind of dreamy.
Status report, Mr. Kim, Janeway asked in a bored and tired tone without looking up from her comm badge. Same as it was an hour ago, Captain. Power levels are high, radiation levels normal, warp output nominal, and sensors both long and short range showing nothing ahead. Kim listed, sounding bored himself. It had been almost a month since Voyager had restocked at a neutral star base, and literally nothing had happened since. Everyone on the ship was bored out of their... You found the story about being bored! You did it!
Amazing!
It won't be boring for long!
Everyone on the ship was bored out of their minds due to nothing to do except overuse the holodeck or catch up on things they never got to do during events that would usually happen to Voyager. Oh god, if something doesn't show on these sensors in the next 5 minutes, I am literally going to die of boredom.
It's so apropos!
Janeway finally stated, leaning back in her chair and rubbing her forehead. Suddenly there was a flash of light, and a humanoid being was standing right in front of Janeway, who almost jumped out of her skin. What's this, Kathy? You're bored? Nothing to do? The being asked. Janeway just facepalmed. Oh, Q, I know I wanted something to happen, but not you barging onto my ship again, she hissed. Oh, Kathy, always turning me away. I was about to offer something exciting for you and your crew to do. Hey, that rhymes, Q announced, sounding like an idiot. Janeway then stood up and advanced on Q, who took a few steps back. Get off my ship now, Janeway demanded in her dangerously low and threatening voice. Everyone who knew Janeway well enough, even Q knew this, that Janeway never likes to be messed with, and when she talks like this. Q then threw up his hands up defensively. I'm gonna try this sentence again. Q then threw up his hands up defensively. No, that's okay. It really says that. Oh, don't worry, I will, but just hear me out first, please, Q pleaded. Janeway didn't answer at first. She just glared at him fiercely, her eyes almost catching fire with hate. After a tense minute, Janeway then said, "You have 20 seconds." Then Q slowly lowered his hands. But would take 20 minutes to explain what I want to... 15, Janeway then interrupted firmly. Q then sighed. You're as bad as Buttercup, he said, before snapping his fingers and vanishing in a flash of light. Janeway's serious face turned to one of confusion. Okay, what did he mean by Buttercup? Tom asked. I have no idea, Mr. Paris, but we're gonna find out, she stated. She then quickly turned to Harry. Quick, Mr. Tuvok! Sorry, she turns to Harry and then addresses Tuvok. That's precious.
Okay.
Quick, Mr. Tuvok, where did he go?
Quick! Cookie Cannon!
Yeah.
We must find!
Janeway
Report!
asked quickly. Before Tuvok could answer, the whole ship suddenly lurched sideways and began to drift to port. The naval term for left.
Oh my god!
Report, Janeway yelled. The ship is caught in some kind of vortex that has opened up on our port bow. It is pulling us in, Tuvok announced, completely unfazed by what was happening. On screen, after some button presses,
Do not
what
confuse
looked
composure
like
with
a
ease.
gray funnel cloud with a white hole in the middle could be seen on the view screen, and it was steadily growing larger as the ship was sucked in. Goddamn you, Q, Janeway cursed in her head.
Who is the amazing auteur who wrote this?
There's only like 500 more words to go, so
Alright.
it's a 900 word thing.
Mr. I can see the end. You guys.
Oh.
Mr. Paris, can you get us away? The captain asked the helmsman. Not without warp, and we don't have that right now, he announced. Janeway then tapped her compass. B'Elanna, what's going on? Janeway asked. It's the vortex, Captain. It's more than just a vortex. It's a rift in subspace, and it's preventing us from creating a stable warp field. B'Elanna Torres yelled into her comm badge from the engineering section of the ship. 7 of 9 to bridge, a new voice announced. Go ahead, 7, Janeway stated. My scanners show the rift activity is increasing. The vortex is growing in both size and intensity. We must leave now, 7 commanded. We're working on that, 7. Meanwhile, keep feeding us data about this phenomenon. Anything will do right now, Janeway ordered. Aye, Captain. Just then, Q appeared in Janeway's seat. If you had let me explain properly, you wouldn't be panicking right now, Q stated casually. What have you done, Q? Janeway demanded. Q pointed to the vortex on the screen. That rift in subspace, as you call it, Q explained, quoting the words from Rift and Subspace with his fingers, is actually a portal to the city of Townsville, Earth, 21st century, in another universe. Q explained some more. What I want you humans to do is find a substance these humans call Chemical X. A drop of this combined with your warp engines will give you the ability to make your own dimensional portal to get back to your universe, Q stated. How do we know this isn't a trick? Janeway asked. Q just chuckled. You don't. But even if it is, Kathy, I gave you something to do, didn't I? He then vanished. Janeway sighed once more. Well, Mr. Paris? Mr. Paris. Ugh. Since we can't get away, let's go inside. Full impulse, Janeway ordered. Yes, ma'am. With that, Voyager flew straight into the vortex.
Hanoi Legolas, she said in Elvish. Thank you, Legolas. She did not want too much of her to be known. Fear not, these are my dearest friends, including the dwarf, Legolas said. Lightning glanced at the son of Gloin and slightly clenched her fists in silent annoyance. Gimli snorted and leaned heavily against his axe. He was not intimidated by another elf. The news was a shock to Aragorn. No word or documents were written about the elf. No elf or man had ever spoken of a fair warrior. Lightning regarded them carefully, like wary cat watches a dog. Aragorn wondered if she spoke the common tongue. That's stuff there, because it's all in Elvish.
It is?
A lot of it is.
Wow, keep going. I want to hear you speak Elvish.
Fine. Where's that frick ass tongue? There we go.
It's in your mouth, mate.
It's on your forehead.
Elith Elfirin Ed Hilhail. Rank Gilabrin Thiliol, Aragorn murmured.
Nice murmur.
Immortal maiden, elven wise, and arms like silver glory. He sang the words of the song to Tinubiel, yet the Northern Ranger could now see the ancient song had more than one meaning. A two-faced song, one could say. The she-elf smiled. Her emotionless face suddenly lifted, and she lowered her guard slightly.
What ho, she-elf!
Speak no secrets, Legolas. Here is a rarity among the race of man, she cried. The way she said it confused Strider. Was she saying the race of man was normally dull-witted? He wore his confusion on his face. Au Athalika, Lightning said. You must understand. There are few who are scholars in the ancient tongue. Well met, Aragorn, son of Aragorn. Fucking throw this thing.
Don't do it!
Well met, Aragorn, son of Arathorn. Both elf and man bowed to each other. Lightning is not an elf. She's a...
Well, she is in this crossover.
Just...
You are not an elf.
There's nothing good in this. I was hoping for something amazing. Because, how could you go wrong with Lord of the Rings and Final
If
Fantasy?
you throw my iPad, I will be compelled to buy the new iPad. Which is both good and bad.
Trailer 1, disclaimer, I don't own Naruto or Final Fantasy, they owned by Square Enix.
Oh boy.
Both of them.
They owned.
Summary, 7 must stand up to stop the world they love from being destroyed. Parings, Naru x Saku, Sasu x Hina, Sai x Ino, Garax XOC. Some won't happen until the squeal.
Oh.
The Destiny of Fate. A figure with blonde hair, blue eyes, wearing a black jacket and military boots, carry a sword and swing it.
I think I've been out of the loop on Naruto for a while.
7 most stand up. 6 figures standing behind the boy with the sword. They are the only hope. We can do this. We are not going to let this happen, say a girl with pink hair and green eyes. It all up to us, say blonde boy. Run, say a boy with black hair duck shape. The 7 figures.
What? What?
The 7
Duck shape?
Say a boy with black hair, duck shape.
The 7 figures are fighting a huge golem. It all up to us, says the boy with blonde hair as he look at the sky. Final Fantasy 15, Chapter 1 coming soon.
Was that like someone reading storyboard tiles?
Apparently, it's the guy who made the storyboard and published that as his fanfic.
Twitch, you did it.
Final Fantasy 13, Earth to Cocoon. Down in small town East Town, Florida, students at Waters High School meet down in the courtyard for lunch. One of them is named Shepard. He and his 2 friends are different from the others. Shepard was a Heartless, and he is getting more for his army to destroy the world.
What?
He can control darkness,
Is this
move
a-
in the shadows when necessary,
Is
and
this
protect
self-insert?
portals that he chooses to open in whatever place there
Getting a
is.
self-insert vibe from this.
Grendel is half human. Shepard calls him a ghoul. The reason being is because Grendel is not only half human, but he is also half zombie. He hides his zombie look in a prosthetic skin and takes it off to scare people and to fight his friend/enemy Shepard. Sky is neutral between Shepard and
Should have said
Grendel.
frenemy, it would have been better.
She is the one between them, and she tries to stop the fights that Shepard or Grendel wants to start because Casu at school they are bored. Unfortunately,
Why do you
Sky
keep
has
fighting
no
the
special
stories about
ability.
people being bored?
She does wish she had angel wings like a character in Angel Beats, her favorite anime show that she made Shepard watch. Shepard is 200 years old, and Grendel is about 86 years old. But they both look like teenagers. Because when you have no heart or you're half dead, you can pick your own age. Sky is only 16. Unlike Sky, Shepard was interested in time travel. He watched all the shows, Doctor Who, which was his favorite, Quantum Leap, The Time Machine, and the remake. Time travel fascinated Shepard, just like how anime characters in fantasy fascinate Sky. Grendel, on the other hand, was as mellow as a Jamaican. They all had different interests, but they all play a key role in the world of Final Fantasy 13.
This was some 15-year-old self-insert with his group of friends then. Okay. I don't know.
Sky was not interested in time travel.
Shepard was interested.
Shepard was extremely interested in time travel.
It must be how he's 400 years older, whatever the number was.
When you're
8,000 words of hardcore gay.
Because when you are a Heartless or a zombie, you get to pick your own age.
You get to pick your own age.
It's a good line. Something like that.
okay, but who gets to be the skeletal robot dog who only speaks in swears?
Medibot.
Excellent.
I mean,
Didn't realize how spot on it was until you said that.
after the first 2 things, I already knew what I was going to say, but then it just kept going. What do you got for us? Lay it on me. Lay that sick shit down.
Hope sat down on the swings, angry at his dad. His dad never spent time with him whatsoever. It was all about work to him. Work to him. He never understood why the sanctum was more important than family. It never made sense. Yeah, he knew about l'Cie business. He knew all about the focus thing. But isn't there other people in charge of that kind of stuff instead of just his father? He kicked the sand, giving him a little push. A guy about 19 joined Hope on the swings, sitting on the chain seat furiously. The guy had blonde hair, tan skin, and a very, very small outfit that showed off his chest. Was this guy gay? Why was he angry? Why is his shirt so fucking small? Why is there something so familiar about him? The tan boy muttered something under his breath, gripping the chains of the swings. Hope stared
No! Something terrible has happened.
Yeah, moblins have appeared.
That's the good part.
Hope
That other
stared
part
at the
could
guy as
happen.
if he had mental
Shut up.
problems. The tan boy snapped his head in Hope's direction, startling him.
I don't know. tan boy is. I don't know what they're getting at.
What are you gawking at? The tan boy asked rather coldly. You, now leave me alone, Hope responded, his voice lowering after each word. I'm sorry, kid. It's just that I'm in a bad mood. It's okay, I guess so. I'm in a bad mood too. And why are you? My stupid dad. How about you? My dad too. Stupid dad.
Oh, I know where this is going.
Yeah, father's stuck. When I have kids, I won't be anything like my father. Amen. Your name is? Hope Estheim, you? Titus. Just Titus. He said, followed by a moment of silence.
Yeah.
Huh.
Titus broke the silence by
Like my
saying,
5th Royal Army.
Why are you mad at your father? But man is a jerk. He never has time for me or my mom. He let out.
Then Titus popped a gay little boner.
My dad is like that
Big
too.
old boner.
He thinks he can do all the crap he wants since he's a famous blitzball player like I am. I know I'm famous too, but I know my limits. But no, my dad goes out drinking with prostitutes and stuff. And comes back at 3 in the damn morning throwing up all over the living room. He babbled on. Hope took a closer look at him, then he realized. He's Titus of the Xanarkand Abes. What is he doing here? And who has to clean all of that nasty shit up? I do. You know how much disinfectant I have to use for it? A lot. He finished as he crossed his arms, slouching while looking at the sand.
Delusion. It was a windy and fine day in that place with a lots of dancing white flowers in my sight. I was walking along in this wonderland with clueless and definitely don't know where I am going. Suddenly I asked myself, did I die? Then I hurriedly to run and looking around to search Al. I called his name in many times because I know he will respond to me immediately if he will heard my voice. But I can't find him anywhere, no matter how far I have ran or how loud my voice. It was still useless, until I bumped on someone's back. Ouch. Hey, watch it. A feminine voice was raised up to my ears, and then I apologized after I got up a bit. She was a woman.
Okay.
She smiled at me, and when she turned her gaze toward me, she seemed to utter something by her smile, and then I realized my limb in steel was holding her lap. I grinned and blushed in embarrassment as I rushed to stand up beside her. She stood up as well, and then she said, "Oh, I thought you are Hope Estheim." She removed the dirt from her lap up to her knees, and then she turned around to face at me.
This person failed creative writing in middle school.
I was kind of amazed from her. For the first time, I appreciated a beauty of a woman aside Mom, because she has a pink-orange, pigtailed hair, a nature green eyes, and a fine white skin that lighten her image much. She was tall as usually I've seen from an adult woman, except Granny Pinocchio, of course. I don't know her exact age, but based on her posture, she looked like a childish lady, wearing a weird outfit, making me thought she came from a tribe clan or somewhat. By the way, I'm Arabadiah Vanille. Just call me Vanille. What's yours, little boy? She introduced herself with a smile as she gave a hand waiting to be shake with mine. I have no idea who's that person she was
I thought you
talking
want
about, and I
Stonestone
felt kind
as opposed to Great Bridge.
I do.
Okay.
I have no idea who's that person she was talking about, and I felt kind of insulted by her when she called me little. But I am still glad to know her name, though. Then I told her not to call me little, small, or something related with midgets. She threw several feared nods toward me after my sentence, and then I told her about my age. You are 15, but you are small, she surprised in a question, and then she moved down her hand after I ignored it. I absolutely lost my temper out and made me shout. Hey, I said, don't call me small, but I immediately knock it off to never mind it as I sighed. Then I introduced myself in calm.
This fucking
Oh God.
This is worth reading.
I'm Edward Elric, the Full Metal Alchemist. I proudly grinned toward her with a pointing finger of me and a hand on my waist. Vanille smiled, she holding her hands together at her back. Nice to meet you, Edward, she greeted, but, what is a Full Metal Alchemist? I never heard about them, she asked innocently as she twisted her lip with rested fingers over her chin and wondering about my one and only title.
Eric removed his belt.
What was up with this lady? Wasn't she aware about my popularity as the youngest genius in the East? She was definitely come from somewhere I don't know. I was upset that much. When she was too ignorant about me. So I tried to prove my words by showing up my auto mail with her first. Then I performed the alchemy in front of her to make her convince and impress as well. But the alchemy was not work. I wonder why it doesn't affect in this place. I tried to do it again, but it was still no difference. Hey, what's going on with my alchemy? The reaction was just the same as Rose's when she saw unexpectedly my artificial limb. But it was not enough to
They
make her
find something,
believe
I don't care what it is.
I am an alchemist because of my failed show that brought me into a humiliation. I doesn't notice. Vanille was already knelt down in front of me. She holds my replaced arm covered with my red long sleeve coat, and then she stared at it sadly. What happened to your arm? She asked with a pity look towards me after her short pause.
It fell off.
I can't answer her simple question, nor to take a peek upon her eyes. I was just bowing in silence in front of her.
Oh wait, in silence.
Sorry.
You know
That
what
one
they-
was my mistake. That's
You
it's
know
not
what
on
they
that.
say, the smaller the arm, the bigger.
It was not likely because I confused to answer it.
You know what they say
I
about a
just
guy with
don't
no
want to
arms.
talk about my nightmare past. The sinful thing I had done to myself and my little brother, who much more been suffered by my mistake.
Yowza.
She was moving closer to me and I leaning backward as she following my eyes with hers. I felt nervous and my cheeks were glowing into red because of her odd stare. She was curiously looking at me in concern to know about what might be I answer, and that was really bothering me though. God, some kind of robot language. But she asked weirdly instead. Edward Elric, as a concern, if you don't mind, can I do this? I wondered why she needed to ask it indirectly, that I knew already what does she meant, and she suddenly embraced me. Just as I've thought. The same thing usually Uncle Armstrong worst used to do if he pitied me. Although I don't need it, she made me feel comfy. At least with the flashback memories of Mom, even though her scent was too different and the smoothness of her skin and warmness of her body as well. That's all italics, so I had to do something.
Emphasize all of it. Yeah.
The affection as we utter from each other was just nothing actually. But wait a minute, I suddenly thought if I should trust her as I suspicious her about something who will make me trap into this place forever. I started to get tense against her, but I can't move myself because of her hold tight on me to make sure that I couldn't escape from her arms. Damn it, she was stronger too, as Uncle does. She muttered some unfamiliar words beside my ear, and I don't understand. What was it all about, making me more frightened against her? It was a foreign language that I couldn't understand without translating it. Hey, get off me! Stop acting like my mother. Sorry, Edward, but I couldn't help it, she apologized in giggle, and then she brushed her head up against mine. You're so cute, she whined as she hugging me tighter and still the same stuff. All my doubts against her was entirely broken and sudden and turned into a temper outburst after she spoken those silly words and very irritating in my ears. I said, get off me, you pervert. Tee-hee, you know Ed Chan, when I hugged you, I remembered my teddy bear in my room. What? Hey, I'm not a toy and don't call me Ed Chan, stop playing with me. Oh, you don't want my teddy? Fine. What about Panda? Idiot, do I look like a fat and two black eyes for you? Nope, but a cat perhaps. she damn answered. Because of your golden eyes, she added in tease. Our nonsense argument wasn't last long when I ignored her last reply, just to try to move at least a bit enough to make a quick attack mood. Forgive me, but I have to do this. I was trying to move out my hands locked with her thighs, but a sudden kiss was hit through my forehead, made me stop with a flashed eyes and stunned upon her view. Then finally she got off from me and stood up in front of my sight with both hands behind her. I was shocked from that touch because I wasn't expected. She will do it with me and my face heat up again from the moment of embarrassment has been dashed. That was Mom always using to do with me.
Whoa. I think that's a really rare thing.
Afro and red shit. Oh wow. I'll have to check that out.
I'm about to check it out.
I mean, it's the same thing. It's just a red chick instead of a yellow one. This is the flan figurine, by the way, that you get.
That thing is adorable. I like it. It reminds me of Salt
Afro
Pig.
and red chick is a 1% drop.
Oh wow.
So I have
Off a red
500
chocobo.
red chocobos. Carry on.
After I awake from being froze, Vanille was staring down toward me that meets mine, and then she drew a smile upon her face. Good to meet you, Edward, she said, and then she paused, and then again she spoke. By the way, please don't compare me with your mother because I am only 17. That was a very surprising thing to know that made me gasp Glad you guys are enjoying it. That made me gasp in disbelief and agape. She was only 2 years older than me, but she much more looked 19 or 20 to me. She got chuckled after he saw my silly reaction, until after
Your silly reaction.
until after a while, the field was starting to turn into fog and whitish. Vanille was still laughing softly at me, but suddenly she began to become a transparent until she completely vanished before my eyes. I gasped and stood up hurriedly, calling her name Panicky. But I couldn't see her anywhere, meaning she was really disappeared. I smelt something bad on the air, and then, B-san, your butt is burning. My armored Ed brother's voice was interrupting me in sudden. Al, I found out he was right, my ass was really burning. That's like the best sentence in this whole thing. I found out he was right, my ass was really burning. Crap! I forgot we are in a middle of a panic with Harmony, and my idiot brother was making a barbecue fire behind me. Thank God, I got relief from the fire when they after me with a water splash. Only my...
Do that sentence again.
Do that sentence again.
Thank God, I got relief from the fire when they after me with a water splash. Only my coat
Just think
got...
about 5 or 6 words.
A little splash.
I after you with a little water splash.
Only my coat got burned, lucky not my jeans. And then the duo laughed out loud at me.
He wears black pants.
Both feel the amusement while I felt suffered. Yeah, very funny, thanks to Al. Nissan, what's wrong with you? Are you alright? Yeah, Ed, does something bothering you? Because I've saw you wandering around with a deep thought a while ago, and even I calling you, you aren't responding to me. They both asked in wonder.
What language was this guy fluent in?
But I ignored their questions and made my silence instead. Then I smirked until it turned into a grin. Let's eat. It was a big mystery to me about everything happened a while ago, although it was just a result of overthinking about Mom. The memories of her that's still living in my heart and couldn't be perished even though I had committed a sin for her. But if the woman named Herbadiah Vanille does exist, I won't hope to meet her again, because she could probably be a big threat to me.
What?
Well, there you have it. That was more entertaining than it
That was the best fan fiction.
Please note, I do in fact suck at writing, so don't go all out on my ass on my show.
Oh boy.
But criticism is okay.
Criticism. We have seen many new words and language structures today.
This is why I hate it when Fang convinces me to go drinking with her and Vanille.
Hey.
I woke up in a daze with a bad hangover that could kill a behemoth in seconds.
I already like this. Are you kidding me?
All I can remember from last night is being challenged to a drinking contest from the Pulsian. I think I outlasted her, but I really wish I can remember what happened afterwards. I got up and walked to the bathroom, removing my pink hair from my face. As I walk out of I notice a small blue dress on the ground next to the black pants I wore yesterday. Oh no, I thought, hoping I didn't do what I thought I did. I hear humming and bacon sizzling from the kitchen. I threw a shirt and some sweatpants on and rushed down to see what I did. A young girl, about Vanille's age and size, was busy cooking breakfast. She had long blonde hair just past her shoulders, green eyes, and small breasts, I guess between a A cup and B cup. Though I did find it hard not to notice when she was wearing her underwear and an apron. Oh, good morning, Miss Lightning, she said in a very light and cute tone. She had a fairly bright smile when she looked at me. Is she the reason why I feel like crap, or did I start it? So many things are rushing through my head until I heard, "Are you okay? You seem to be troubled," the mystery girl asked. "I'm alright," I explained. "However, who are you? I can't remember anything last night." "What? I'm sorry, my name is Noelle Vermillion. I saw you at the bar."
I knew I would love this.
I didn't see it coming.
And well, I finally got the courage to talk to you after you finished your drinking contest with that dark-skinned lady. Well, after you kissed me, you asked me to help you get home because you claimed you can't drive home. Things got hectic after I got you here, and I ended up spending the night here.
Read the words on the screen.
She spent the night. Great. That means something happened. I take a deep breath and ask, Did we do some thing like night? I get ready for the impending depression. We did, and then some. God damn it. I bit my lip. She didn't look like she regretted last night, but I feel bad for doing whatever I did in my drunken state to her. I'm sorry for doing that to you. I was drunk and well. Don't worry about it. I actually liked it. After all, I do like you after all. I like you very much, Noelle said happily. Is she for real?
They played Guilty Gear for 3 hours.
Is this the worst Noelle Vermillion fanfiction you've ever heard?
Second verse.
It's the only one I've heard.
This is going to make thanks for the sex, now get out harder to do. I sat down at the table trying to save the situation. Anyways, breakfast is ready. I hope you like it. Noelle handed me a plate of bacon and eggs. It looked pretty good and had a good aroma to it. Thank you, I said. I take my first bite and felt like I got punched in the gut by Alexander. I collapsed and passed out. Last thing I heard was Noelle crying out, "Miss Lightning!" I woke up in a hospital room. Noelle was in a military-like blue clothing with matching beret, crying into the blanket covering my thigh. Sarah was also in the room with the bane of the fair and existence standing next to her. A extremely tall doctor wearing a paper bag on his head was reading off a clip. Ah, good, you are awake. This young lady brought you here a few days ago and hasn't left your side since. It seemed you had a severe food poisoning. I am amazed you woke up at all. The degree of it could have killed a dozen men. You are definitely strong to survive. I turned to Noelle to see her hanging her head low and crying harder than before. We were all scared that you wouldn't make it, Claire. Sarah looked happy that I am okay. A girl with red hair walked in. She wore a plain white shirt and blue jeans. Wait. She had a serious look to her, despite the fact she seemed to have trouble seeing anything.
It's the Wendy's logo.
How are you feeling, Ms. Lightning? She asked before I spoke. She is alright, Tsubaki. No thanks to me.
Should have known.
Noelle said with a lot of gloom in her voice. I guess it is a little of my fault. I should have known Noelle would go and cook breakfast or something afterwards. So Noelle nearly killed me.
Is it words?
Words, W-R-D-S. So Noelle killed me with a simple plate of bacon and eggs. It's okay, as long as you stay away from my kitchen. I see you near it, I'll break your arm. Noelle nodded, but was very spirited of me. As bad as I felt for yelling at her, I think I did the world a huge favor. I sighed as the paper bag doctor said I could leave in a few hours. Noelle said she will do her best to take care of me, but Sarah says she will cook instead, since I can't cook very well and Noelle's cooking is considered a murder weapon. Maybe I can ask Noelle to help temper her cooking and use Snow as her victim. It's a win-win for me either way. I think being with Noelle will benefit both of us. I should go and thank Fang for that night after I break her jaw. I think I heard that weird doctor telling Snow that he will have a room reserved for him. I didn't hear it all because Noelle hugged me tight. The weird thing was, I liked it. Let's go home, Noelle, I said. And
I appreciate how the surliness.
Oh, there's one review.
Oh wow.
Hoorah! 1 degree review ever, bitches! Now, this was LOL, LeMayo, Raffle, wow, the Moe and the Soldier. That's win right there. Now, I do believe that this story has quite a lot of potential, which really wasn't capitalized on here. Yes, I know it is a one-shot, but you could have described the previous night of drinking from Noelle's perspective. How she first saw Lightning and began to like her. And then there's the kind of, well, jarring ending, where Lightning basically shrugs off the fact that Noelle's cooking nearly killed her and just hooked up with Noelle right then words. Officer Farron gets more than she bargained for when she pursues a pair of speeders. Kinda crack, kinda steamy, gift fic, not a Christmas fic.
The albatross.
Vanille cracked her knuckles and turned evilly at Lightning. Fang's grin matched her minis. You got to feel us both up, Vanille said. Now it's our turn.
That wasn't even a warm-up.
Is it a byline?
That's the end. No, I'm sorry. The end is actually Lightning's inner monologue saying, Maker, what a day.
Does she worship Shia Lud in this one? What is that?
Fang looked up in awe at the sight before her. Vanille posed seductively in the doorway, one hand resting on her hip, the other resting against her thigh. The thin material of her pastel blue bikini really didn't leave much to the imagination. The small patches of material that were somehow referred to as a bikini top just about managed to cover Vanille's pert chest. And then there was the matter of the small triangular-shaped cut of her bikini bottoms. A quick spin from Vanille revealed an equally form-fitting cut of blue clinging to her butt, leaving Fang dry in the mouth. Fang, I asked you a question. Vanille stared at the elder woman with half-lit eyes, an all-too-knowing smirk on her face as she slid her hands over the loosely tied knot on her hip that held her bikini bottoms up. Swallowing dryly, it took Fang several moments of useless jaw flapping to finally manage to speak.
to useful jaw flapping.
I guess so. What was the question? She was somewhat shocked to hear how hoarse her voice sounded. Then again, given the current situation, it was completely understandable. Is that a chocobo? I'll fight it. Vanille rolled her eyes, and her smirk widened into a mischievous grin. I said, what do you think of my new swimsuit? With each syllable, she sauntered closer to Fang, stopping mere inches from the bed where she was sitting. Sparkling blue met a glazed-over green, and Vanille licked her lips suggestively. I need a better... My arms are going to be cutting off from text. Alright. Direction, go. It was taking everything she had not to giggle at just how attentive Fang was being at the moment. Fang! The dark-skinned woman stared mutely at the Scutari. Mutely at the redhead for a moment, then thought, to hell with it all. She slid a hand up the younger girl's thigh, before quickly tugging at the knot, pulling it free. Vanille cried out in shock, then giggled loudly as Fang wrapped her arms around her waist, then pulled her down on the bed with her. That's the end of the fanfic. That was Fang and Vanille, 3 reviews. It's called Bikini. by Ghibli Freak.
Yeah, the really nasty part about that is they were both crystals when that fanfic happened.
Oh.